Hi, my name is Mark, and I am on a weight loss journey. I'm on what I call phase 2. Phase 1 I did on my own and lost about 100 pounds, but it took me 18 months to do it. Now I'm headed towards weight loss surgery. So phase 2 is under more direct supervision and a much stricter diet. I am on a high protein, low carb diet, but not keto, and this is all under doctor's instructions, and I'm not a doctor, so get your own doctor. You'll be stealing mine. Anyway, but I'm coming to the end of this phase. Once I have lost 45 pounds on this, then I am to get scheduled for an appointment, which will in turn lead to the actual surgery being scheduled. So I'm wearing a shirt. Unfortunately, they size men's dress shirts by neck size under the it's an okay assumption, but it fails eventually, that the bigger your body is, the bigger your neck is. Now this is big on me down here too, and I think it always kind of was, but the neck is ridiculous. So this week, I think I'm going to share with you some of the kind of meals that I eat, to give you an idea of what I eat, and I guess they're reasonably good suggestions, but again, always check. I don't know what your medical history is, so make sure that you're doing something right for you. If you are on a weight loss plan, by all means, let me know what you're doing. I can't really break the instructions at this point, and I'm not going to, and certainly if you find something that works for you, do what works for you, honestly. But at the end of this period where I have to lose weight and get scheduled, the next step is a pre-op diet, and then a post-op diet, and then a post-surgery diet, which is after all the post-op readjusting stuff. So the journey, I don't know, is it halfway? I suppose in terms of weight loss, we're not quite halfway, but we're getting there. So like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as usual, it's going to be this intro, some sort of midweek update, and then the final weigh-in on Saturday. So please follow along, and thank you for watching. It's Wednesday, a couple things to deal with. First of all, midweek weight, not so good, but there's a reason, not really an excuse. My daughters decided to introduce me to Hawaiian poke bowls, P-O-K-E, which I think is pokey, but it might be poke. And they're really delicious and they're really wonderful, but they're really a lot of food and they're really a lot of carbs. So I probably had 2 days worth of calories at least, and probably about a week's worth of carbs. Not good. So the answer, of course, is to just try to keep cracking down, stay on track. So unfortunately, that means the weight loss is probably not going to be as much as I wanted. Should still be a loss, though. It wasn't that big of a meal. Walking wise, I'm doing more walking. I'm like trying to force myself to do things that I might have put off and had my daughter do, like the laundry, walking over to laundry, walking over to swap the laundry, walking over to pick up the laundry. So I'm doing that now instead of having her do it. And it also works out easier because there's more laundry machines available during the day, because I think everyone else is having their kids do it. I mean, what are kids for? Speaking of kids, and this is something I have not done before, and I'm doing it now. It's something new has come up. A fantastic thing has come up for my youngest daughter. One of her teachers, who is especially fond of her because she's a very caring person, both the teacher and my daughter, and very smart, and she knows that financially she can't afford a lot of extra stuff. So what happened was, she takes kids in the summer on educational tours. And so they booked an educational tour to Peru. And the teacher had a bunch of credits built up with the tour company because she's been going several years. And so she applied those credits and figured she could sponsor my daughter Madison to go for free on like a 10-day tour of education and service in Peru. Hooray! But then Peru decided to have a military coup, so it's no longer safe to go to Peru. So they had to now search through available alternatives and choose an available alternative. And because it was later in the booking process, they wound up with a really great trip, but a much more expensive trip. They're going to, I know my poor daughter is going to suffer for this. She's going to be going to Italy and then a cruise around the Greek Isles with, educational tours the whole way, tour guides explaining the history, etc., etc. But it's a lot more expensive. The other thing is that some of this could have been defrayed by a scholarship. Unfortunately, because the emergency or the need to change itinerary happened past the deadline to get a scholarship. So that created a bigger burden. So the teacher has assured us that she will go, we will make it happen somehow, but I am including a link to donate to help pay for the costs. It's a link direct to the tour company, so there's no middle person. And there's also, if you're out of the United States, there's an 800 number and an account number to reference if you want to make donations. Purely optional. If you can't, you can't. That's fine. Just wish her well. That's also fine. It's a big opportunity, and I want to make sure she gets to it. And I want to try to avoid imposing on the teacher too much, because it was already a big gift to use her credits to sponsor my child. And teachers aren't rich, so this would be a big ding in her savings if she had to dig into it. But weight loss. This was probably also my last hurrah, that Hawaiian poke bowl meal. It's kind of like sushi, so I had tuna sushi, salmon sushi. I had sort of a ball of like crab meat with something. There was some really nice seaweed salad. There was, what was there? There were some fried crunchy things, and there was avocado, and then a lot of rice. So the fried crunchy things, not so good. The rice, not so good. The amount of food, not so good. But other than that, I guess, sushi and seaweed salad and avocado, and even crab. But the crab, I think, was mixed with some kind of, I don't know what it was mixed with, but that was probably also not that great. But it was like it wasn't mayonnaise, but it was like a mayonnaise. Whatever, who cares? This isn't a cooking channel or a restaurant review channel. It's just a trying to lose weight channel. So this was probably my last hurrah, because certainly a meal that big would be impossible after the surgery, and certainly the rice and some other things would be heavily discouraged. And the thing with after the surgery, heavily discouraged means if you eat it, you're risking, severe pain and vomiting and diarrhea and all these other things. So you have to train yourself to not do that, because the consequences of doing it are really bad. Anyway, after this little segment, we're going to have a segment about some meals, just what I usually eat when I'm not being treated to poke bowls and having a last hurrah. And then it will be the Saturday weigh-in. So, please follow along. As always, I've already done the like, share, subscribe thing. And if you can contribute, please do so. No pressure. Hey, I'm just finishing up making breakfast. This is a very simple breakfast. It is 2 eggs scrambled, nothing added to them. Just take the eggs, whisk them up with a fork in a bowl or a cup, and put it in the pan. Pan has been sprayed. It's a nonstick pan, but I sprayed it with PAM, which is like allegedly 000. There you go. Nicely done. And a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of the cheese, quarter cup of shredded cheese, 2 eggs, quarter cup of shredded cheese, scramble it up together. And it's, like I said, 250 calories and 19 grams of not carbs, of protein. And it's delicious and it's simple. And it's within what I'm allowing myself. I can probably do basically the same post-surgery. I should probably add a vegetable, but I do take a vitamin every day. Sorry for doing the weird lean because I wanted to show the food. Take a vitamin every day. I have to switch to a gummy vitamin after the surgery because you can't swallow a big pill. It doesn't sit in your stomach long enough to digest and get the stuff out of it. All right. That's a breakfast. I will at some point do a lunch and a dinner. Okay, so here is a lunch. It is 1 ounce of cheddar cheese, 1 ounce of liver pate, 1 cup of beets, and 6 crackers. And it comes to 294, I gotta move that, 294 calories and 13 proteins. So this one probably could have more protein, but you can see it looks like a tiny bit, but actually after a while this is plenty for lunch. So this is a sample dinner. Yes, it has beets again, but the thing is that I cook a batch of beets or whatever vegetable, and then I just eat them until they're done, and then I cook a batch of either the same vegetable or another vegetable. Because I can't really just cook a small batch. So I just put it in the fridge, and actually beets are nice cold, but if they were a veg that needed to be heated up, I could just heat them up. What you see before you is a can of salmon with some fresh dill and lemon juice, a half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese, and a cup of beets. And that comes to, as we glance over here, to 34 proteins and 233 calories. Pretty good on the fat and carbs too. So, and this is kind of probably a bit big for one sitting maybe. After the surgery, it's probably about the max I could do after the surgery maybe, but I'd have to decrease some of the volume. Because I'm getting the gastric sleeve, that is. Gastric sleeve has a total volume of between 10 and 15 ounces. Not the same as the Roux-en-Y or some other procedures, which shrink you down to a very, very tiny stomach. So again, follow your doctor's advice. This is a sample of what I am doing. If your doctor tells you differently, do what your doctor says. If you're not seeing a doctor, maybe you should see a doctor. Good morning. Doing something a little different, having my coffee outside. It's only about 48 or about 10 Celsius. A lot of my friends that I talk to on Facebook they're up where it's bitter cold right now. They have my sympathies, so cheers to them. So, as expected, the wonderful treat my daughters took me out for Hawaiian poke bowls did have an effect. I did keep track of the rest of the week. I did stay on track. You saw what I ate usually. I will admit that lunch was a bit small. Some of my lunches aren't quite that small, but they're all around 300 or so calories. And then usually a snack, which is a little bit like maybe 150. So, it's around 1,000 for the day is what I'm doing. And if I spread it out and if I make sure I have protein, and of course vegetables are good for just adding volume because they don't add very many calories as long as you pick good vegetables. So I did manage to lose 3 pounds, so I'm at 411. I was hoping to do 5, but of course that 2 pounds was probably all the fault of the Hawaiian poke bowls. Delicious, wonderful, but a lot of carbs, a lot of calories, a lot of food. And like I said, that's probably the last hurrah for anything like that. And certainly post-surgery, I won't be able to. I'm starting to go to the support group. I went to it once and it wasn't very useful for me at the time. because it was all post-surgery stuff. But now I'm coming up on the surgery, so I need to start getting ready for what life's going to be like post-surgery. Got some really good advice for things to do, things that other people do that helps out a lot. So that I've got to keep stored in my brain. That is Ponyo the cat peeking out at me. Anyway, don't forget, if you want to help my daughter go on that educational trip, I'll include the link. Unfortunately, it does only work for people in the United States. If you are outside of the United States and can dial an 800 number, leave a message in the comments and I'll give you the information to pay by the 800 number. But please contribute. When you click on the link, you'll also get to see kind of the itinerary. Like I said, the original plan was Peru, but due to a military coup, they had to change it. And also because of the change, even though she probably would have qualified for a scholarship to help pay some of the costs, it was now past the deadline, and they didn't really need the scholarship for Peru. Anyway, cheers to you all. Stay warm wherever you are, unless you're somewhere really hot, in which case stay cool. You know, the world has two hemispheres. So while it's winter here, it's summer in Australia and other parts. So that's it for now. I'm going to finish my coffee and then I'm going to do my editing. And then I'm going to put it on YouTube, where I hope you will watch it and like it and share it and comment and subscribe. Thank you.